Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 25th of April, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll disappear here for a little bit. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, now then, I can hope you all can see me and hear me well. Also, before we jump into the charts, let's quickly have, actually, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, always you can always reach out to me or to, just in general, any member of our team. So, check out our website, and I believe you can find something useful here. So, now then, guys, jumping into the charts. So the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and look, as the title states there, as a quick technical overview for Tuesday. Well, that's the case because basically we don't really have much economic data on the horizon for today. I mean, we do have the U.S. Building permits coming out, the CB consumer confidence, new home sales. Those or should I say that data is important. However, probably not as important as the earnings right now. So as you know, we are right now in the big dogs are reporting their numbers. Today we have lined up Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken. Microsoft, Alphabet, which is Google, Visa, PepsiCo, McDonald's, Texas Instruments, Verizon. So yeah, guys, if you're into that, keep an eye on the market. And in general, I think that what might happen right now is the main activity will come, of course, from the big companies. Look, yesterday we had tech kind of selling off a little bit of because again today we'll have the data coming out. Again, well, data for major tech companies in the U.S. But of course, let's see how other markets can actually perform here. So, like I said, this is the quick technical overview for other instruments as well. So, Nikkei 225. Look, so far it's still balancing trading below the highlighted zone. Yesterday, it did have an attempt to clear this barrier, and it did succeed initially. It did push through the 28,733.93 territory right here, but failed to stay above it, and that's what we got. We got a nice false little breakout. So still the same game plan remains valid. I need to see a nice good pop above this area, and not only a pop, I would like to see the body of the daily candle staying above this territory, and then I will consider some higher levels. But at this point right now, it's still kind of a bit of a no man's game. So because if you're looking for some lower levels, guys, a break of the lower side of this rising wedge pattern, potential rising wedge pattern, would be needed. So a break through the lower side of it and a drop somewhere below the 28,393 territory is ideal for for the bears. But I've mentioned that in my previous videos, and probably you're already tired of me talking about the same thing. But nevertheless, look, guys, I mean, I'm watching this one. Whenever it starts to build up like that, we could expect a nice little pop here, either to the upside or a nice pop to the downside. So, or drop to the downside. So yeah, instead of using the word pop, then maybe it's more referring to the upside scenarios. But anyway, look, at the moment, that's the game plan. Like I said, let's continue observing the levels here, and we'll pick up on this one once we get a nice, clear breakout. Well, to be honest, I'm going to pick up on this one tomorrow as well, so just to see if, if there's any activity that managed to push this one out of here. Maybe let's say if the US comes out, very volatile today, maybe we could see some nice activity here on Nikkei's futures here. And by the way, all the indices that I'm looking at, those are the futures. ASX 200, very quickly on this one. Look, I talked about this yesterday, and basically I said to keep your eyes on this little territory right here, the 7,327, which continues to provide good support. We rebounded, and look, I said to you yesterday that in general, I'm kind of considering here a bit of a range, and yeah, it's so far I would say it is doing what I was kind of expecting it to do, ranging. Although I don't really like it, but hey, maybe it will present itself with a nice opportunity later on here. So basically, for the upside, I need to see a push above this 7,400 territory. For the downside, a drop below the 7,327 is still required. Until we're here, if you do like to trade ranges, guys, okay, be my guest. I mean, you're probably doing much better than me in that. But certainly, of course, have your stop losses in place, and on the potential breakout levels here, and which are the upper and the lower side of this range. And of course, you only risk what you can afford to lose. So Nifty 50, the India's index. Look, the EMAs provided fantastic support. We rebounded from it, and look, what I talked about previously, I said that, hey, if this highlighted zone continues to provide good resistance, then yes, another decline here could be possible. We did get that decline, but then we rebounded. We couldn't go below the EMAs, and instead we reversed back to the upside, and we're now testing this highlighted zone again. Of course, all this kind of structure here, this price structure is somewhat of a higher lows, not higher highs yet, but higher lows. I would need to see a clearance of this highlighted zone first before, let's say, getting excited with higher areas. So long story short, for now, that's the idea. If the highlighted territory right here continues to provide strong resistance, look, another decline here could be possible, but I think that this time, to be a little bit more on the safe side, I would like to stick to the current lowest point of actually, or should I say, not, I don't want to say April, because no, it's not April. So I would say the low here, because look, the area that we've managed to test near the 200-day EMA is around that 17,600 zone, approximately around there. So a nice good drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially could lead to some lower levels. But at the moment, we're not there. We're actually testing this barrier, the resistance barrier. Let's see if we can clear it or not. If we can, great, I'll go further north. So coming back to the US market. So, okay, guys, look, today, yes, as I said in the beginning, we do have some data coming out, some economic data, not much, maybe not as significant as we would like it to be. However, still could be a mover. Building permits, CB consumer confidence, and yes, the new home sales numbers. So we'll keep an eye on those, of course, but obviously the main point here will be the earnings from the big companies. So look, today, as I've already also mentioned in the beginning, we do have Microsoft, Alphabet. So these, okay, those are gonna drive Nasdaq. We'll see how that's gonna play out, but we do have PepsiCo and McDonald's. So yeah, these guys are gonna pick up on. These guys are going to pick up on Dow. Sorry, maybe not PepsiCo, but basically McDonald's and Visa. So these guys are reporting today. Let me just double check very quickly something. Yes, PepsiCo is sitting in the S&P. Okay, look. Okay. For now, I'm not gonna go into, let's say, analysis of the stocks and everything, because again, that requires a bit of a different approach. Not only like, let's say, technical analysis. So yes, we can have a look at some of the stocks, but I don't think that it's going to be quite accurate. So just kind of let's keep it for now to the indices. So look, at this point, I talked about this previously, and I said that if we do drop and stay below this 33,878, then there's a chance for this one to drift lower. We did initially stay, but look, we pushed back up here, and yeah, we pushed back above this hurdle, and I would say at this point, I am just kind of going to be very, very careful. I mean, okay, we can draw some lines here again, maybe try to find some sort of logic in all this, but it's all very subjective, I would say. I mean, in general, everything is subjective, but here I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here. So again, it's a bit of a random walk, and okay, we might see maybe this as a range, but again, we constantly adjust this, and we're trying to find something. So whenever you get a scenario like this, when it's something, let's say it's not exactly working as according to the plan, honestly, just leave it and wait for a better confirmation. So look, for the upside, I would like to see a push above the 34,269.82 territory, somewhere around here. This way, a forthcoming higher high would be confirmed, then potentially more buyers could join in. For the downside, okay, look, we can keep an eye on this 33,774, but even then we have this upside line, which, yeah, could be a little bit in the way. So if we do break this upside line, then yes, I will consider some, some lower levels here. Maybe a move towards all of the EMAs, the remaining EMAs, because again, if this upside line gets broken, then we would probably also fall below the 50-day EMA, and potentially we could start looking at the targeting the 100 and the 200-day EMAs, and then we would take it from there. But at this point, let's say like this: if you're looking for something short term, a drop below the 33,774 territory might do the trick for you. If you're looking for some higher levels, well, this is the point where maybe I would say, keeping an eye on yesterday's high here on the futures near the 34,000 mark. If we do clear that, then yes, maybe it could open the door towards higher levels. But again, don't forget that we are in this earnings season, so yeah, we might see some volatility, and might see some choppiness first of all. So just have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine, guys. And of course, don't risk more than you can you can afford to lose. The S&P 500. So this one is a little bit more how to say, not accurate, not better, but a little bit in line with the technical picture. So look, I talked about this previously and said that it might be the case that we are in this nice rising channel pattern, and it seems to be, yeah, so far it's working. So I said to you previously that if we drop lower and we test the lower side of the rising channel, keep your eyes on it, because if it holds, we might rebound and push back up. We might see, maybe a move back above this 4,152 territory. We did initially, but we had only these false breakouts. And now the question here is, can we actually move back up? Well, I would say I will take although I still like that 4,100 and 4,152 territory. I would still maybe like to see, for that extra confirmation, to push above yesterday's high here on the futures, the 4,164. And if we clear that one, then yes, I will go a little bit higher, initially targeting the current highest point of April near the 4,198. And then maybe that, of course, that psychological 4,200 territory could be a nice good target, not to mention the highest point of February of 2023, which is, well, by the way, the current highest point of 2023. So just kind of keep that in mind. But look, long story short, given that we're still near the lower side of the rising channel, there is still, a chance that we could see a break of it. Yeah, look, let's not rush into anything. Let's wait and see. Let's wait for that confirmation break and then do something about it. But because at this point, it's a bit of a well, it's always a gamble, but right now there's a little bit more gambling, I think, involved in all this, because again, you don't know how these companies will come out and how they will drive the market. Candles Z, candles or candle Z. I mean, I have the same issue again. I'm trying to figure out which one is it. But good day, mate. Good day back to you, mate. So yeah, hope you know you're having a wonderful start of Tuesday. Hope everybody else who's joining in right now as well having a wonderful start of Tuesday, guys. Look, as I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is a very quick kind of technical overview in general, because we don't have much data, economic data, but yeah, we're watching the earnings coming out. But the main data will come out on Friday, the PCE, US PCE number. So that's going to be quite interesting to see how it plays out. And of course, the Fed is also watching all these earnings. So, you know, we'll see how that comes out. DAX, the German index. Look, so far so good. Still, we're balancing above this 15,891. I spoke about this level previously. As long as we stay above it, I will still continue aiming to the upside. If you're not, no, candles. Okay, yeah, candles. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Thank you very much for clarifying that. Yeah, actually makes my life a little bit easier. But look, basically coming back to the chart here, the DAX. Okay, I'm trying to, you know, every day I'm trying to figure out something new to say about this index. Sorry, guys, but unfortunately, I'm struggling with that, because again, we're still balancing above that 15,891. Okay, that's still good from the upside perspective. But now, I mean, looking at the picture here, I would say, okay, maybe, just maybe, to be a little bit more on the cautious side, this 16,063 territory could be the one to watch. And just for that extra confirmation. Look, I mean, we're in a bit of a tight range, I would say. So whenever we get stuck in here, whenever we get stuck in a range, I rather wait it out and wait for a confirmation break. Certainly, let's not exclude potential false breakouts as usual. But look, maybe just in general, if we do pop above the 16,063 territory, yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high. Potentially more buyers could join in, and we could start aiming for that 16,200 or maybe a little bit above that. For the downside, if we do fall below the 15,891 territory, yes, okay, this could attract a few more sellers into the game. However, as I mentioned before, I would rather stick to maybe this territory, the highlighted zone that I have here on my chart. That's roughly around that 15,700 zone. Because if we get a nice drop here below this, I mean, previously, as you can see, it acted as a good area of support, then resistance, then support. I'm not like giving up on that level yet, because again, it's quite an interesting one. I mean, quite important one, I would say. But of course, time will tell. But look, if we do fall, let's say below the 15,891, yes, I'll consider a bit of a down move here. But again, this area could be a little bit on the tricky side. I mean, it could still rebound from this highlighted zone and push back up. So, you know, we have seen something like that happening previously. So let's not ignore all that. And yeah, let's approach it from the careful perspective. Again, it could be the end of this week could be a volatile one. I mean, but of course, we don't have a crystal ball, unfortunately. So for now, we can only go from what we have on the chart. US dollar declined yesterday, so it took a hit. Okay, look, what I said before, that I'm watching this downside line. This is quite an interesting one here. If we do clear this and stay above it, oh, excuse me. If we do clear that and stay above it, great. I'll go for some higher levels. Also, previously, I talked about the 102.06 zone, which is still fine, but I think I need to add another level here right now. So this one, the 101.93, or in general, the 102 zone. The whole zone right here around that 102 territory. Now, if if we do get the clearance of that one, this may attract a few more buyers. A forthcoming higher high would be confirmed here, and of course a break of this downside line could happen, and everything like that and so on, and very, very positive things. Yeah. But of course, then we need to be careful with the 50-day EMA, then with the 100 and the 200-day EMAs. These are going to be my targets if we do break the downside line and this 102 zone. But the thing is that for now, we're seeing some declines. We're seeing some drops here below the 101.09 zone right here, and we're currently still below it. So in a way, it kind of is leaning towards some downside here, and my next target is the 100.67, or maybe even the lowest point of April near the 100.42 territory, and then we will basically take it from there, guys. Now then, that's, like I said, that's the quick overview of the US dollar. Again, don't be surprised, let's say, for example, if suddenly this pushes back up. In general, this whole territory here is not something for me. Yes, I'm leaning a little bit right now more towards the downside, but it's not really, let's say, you know, my maybe like ideal scenario, because again, I'm still keeping an element of the doubt just because we are in this tricky period. Yes, like I said, if to approach it from the just very simplistic way, yes, I'm leaning towards the downside on the US dollar. Excuse me. And then, yeah, well, I will aim for this territory first, the 100.67, and then for the 100.42 after that. But let's see. Jumping into gold, guys. Gold took a nice pop here. Look, initially yesterday we were selling off. We created another false breakout, but look how well the lower side of the rising channel is holding on. And I talked about this, and basically so far, yes, everything's kind of picture perfect, I would say. You know, according to all the TA rules, everything's looking quite good. So yeah, in a way, I would say life is perfect on gold, you know, for gold here. So everything's according to the books. What's interesting here is that yesterday, look, I talked about this, and I said that if we rebound from this lower side of the rising channel, that's great. We could see some upside, and especially if we push back above the 1990 territory, that could be your first indication that, you know, more buyers could join in here. But probably more buyers could join in on a push back above the at least 2003 territory, somewhere around here. Candles, you have 2004, then 12, 32, 75. Okay, look, let's see what you actually have here. I mean, I will agree with you in some points here, but okay, 2012, 2012. Okay, look, yes, good, not bad target in general. Look, for example, when I say that you know, I'm keeping an eye on a certain level, I keep on mentioning this, that I keep an eye on the area around that level. So 2012 could be. Caught 82, scaled in to 88. Okay, good, very good. I think that you know, you're honestly, I can't say anything else apart from well done. So basically, look, the 2004, yes, it's near my target as well. The 2003.41, approximately around here. Okay, look, so basically in general, what I said to you previously, that 1990, I was keeping an eye on that one and still do. I had my rebound from the lower side of the rising channel. Great. So now, like I said, I'm sticking to the upside here for now. Of course, don't get me wrong. Still, if suddenly US dollar pops higher in some sort of news, crazy news or something like that, don't expect gold, you know, to continue rallying. We'll have a nice break here through the lower side of the rising channel, and then, yep, this could open the door towards some lower levels. So always keep that in mind, guys, that something will come up in the market that, you know, will go against all the logic or all the rules or the most obvious scenario. So at the moment, the most obvious scenario here is to the upside. And you can see that, yes, so far we're climbing as we speak. We're in 1996 now, and we're kind of getting closer to that psychological 2000 mark. Then, yes, and then we're all these levels, 2003, 2015. If we clear the 2015 for me, then actually I would start looking at some moves towards maybe the 2049.50 zone, approximately around here. That's my next target here. But my ideal target, of course, is somewhere around here. Let me jump into a monthly. Yep, there we go. Actually, weekly will be better. So my ideal upside scenario here is a move towards this territory around the 2065, something like that, because we have a downside line here still playing out. Downside line taken from the high. Oh, let me just jump back into a daily, I think, for that one. Yes. So, oh, let me just grab this one. There we go. The highest point of August of 2020. So, yep. It's a line with a little decline here. So it's not really a horizontal, barrier here, but it's more of a downside line. So we're still below it. However, maybe in the very, very long term, this could act as a nice maybe area of, as a bullish flag maybe of some sort. So look, I mean, we could see maybe this one is a nice little maybe a bullish flag, or actually maybe more of a broadening triangle here. So, and of course the prevailing trend was to the upside here. Let's say if we do have something like a broadening triangle here. Let me just capture this little drop here. Oh, I really don't like this dotted line here. Then, yep, there we go. So something like that, maybe. Again, we from the bigger picture, yes, we are still kind of maybe a little bit more on the bullish side. But of course, anything can happen, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this market is just, giving us these little shock waves sometimes, and in general, maybe that's good, because again, then maybe, presents itself with more opportunities for other traders, for example, who missed out on something. So yeah, look, in general, this is the kind of the big picture here. We're on this rising channel from the short-term perspective. And like I said, life is good, seems to be for the bulls. But of course, let's wait and see. If suddenly we see a violation of the lower side of this rising channel, guys, I might be shifting my views here, and maybe back towards the 50-day EMA, maybe even the 100-day EMA. So let's see how that's going to play out. Silver, very quickly, again. So far, the same analysis is valid. We're still above this highlighted zone. I talked about this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because the 24.6373 area here is doing a good job, providing good support. And yeah, if we do push back above the 25.50 territory, somewhere around here, I'll get excited with more upside, and then we could take it from there. Look, there's another level that I'm keeping an eye on here, and actually not keeping an eye on, but I just spotted it. This one right here somewhere. Yep, there we go. This 25 point, let's round it up here a little bit, 40. Also a nice good potential target. Look, in general, one thing for sure, I think from the shorter term perspective, we have this downside line. So if we break this, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with the upside. But this arrow has to go away. It's a little bit in the way. But on the other hand, look, we have ourselves here, or should say, could have ourselves here, a potential descending triangle. According to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. However, a breakout is still needed. So at the moment, we're just observing it, right? I mean, we're trying to consider all the possible options. We're trying to, complicate our lives as much as possible here. And yeah, of course, we should not do that, obviously. But to consider all potential scenarios, that's what we need to do. Look, a few adjustments here have to be made. I will remove this line. We'll just tidy up my chart a little. This needs to go here as well. We don't need it. Maybe things will change after that. Maybe we'll respect that. But hey, at this point, let's keep it short and simple. So for now, let's say if we do drop below this territory, this highlighted zone right here, I will aim a little bit more towards the downside, towards the 50-day EMA. But for the upside, I need to see a push above the downside line. And again, I will start looking at some higher levels from the 25.40. Then, of course, it's the 25.50, and then so on and so on. Oil. WTI oil, we got ourselves a little move here to the upside. Look, I talked about this yesterday. I said that as long as we stay below all of the EMAs, yes, I will continue aiming to the downside. What happened? We pushed back up. We didn't stay. So that means what? That means we could, consider here a move higher. However, this move higher has already been quite a decent one. We're currently getting a hold up near this highlighted zone of mine, near the 79 target. If we start clearing it, I'll aim for the 200-day EMA. And if we clear the 200-day EMA, I'll go, I'll keep an eye on my highlighted zone right here, which, to be honest, candle. I think candles. I think that the videos, maybe the comments are a little bit lagging. I think there's a little bit of a delay on the whole kind of when comments are coming through. So exactly as we speak, I mean, I'm covering oil. So look, oil here basically, yes. We're currently getting a hold up near that 79 territory. So as I said, if we clear the 79 and we clear maybe this 79.50 territory somewhere around here, I will target the 200-day EMA, which is currently around my 80.88 zone. If we clear that one, then yes, I will go higher towards this highlighted zone right here on the top. But at this point, look, although we pushed back up, we pushed back to the upside towards that 79 territory. If this continues to provide good resistance, guys, I am not really giving up on the downside scenario. However, the way everything's shaping up here, I'm not excluding, of course, the upside scenario, but my ideal scenario here is maybe to see a push higher, maybe even break this highlighted zone right here, and then by the end of the day come back and basically this way create a false little breakout, and then maybe the sellers could step in here again and drive to the downside. Now again, if we do drive lower, if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, probably drop below the 76.74 territory here would be required, just to be kind of be a little bit more careful. And yeah, then we could aim for this upside support line of mine, taken from the low of the 9th of December. But at this point, look, we're flirting with that 79 zone. Let's see if we can clear it, and then we'll take it from there. Gap should fill 75.7 here somewhere, right? You're talking, I'm assuming you're talking about this little area right here. Look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like when I'm saying that if we do drop below this, I'm just mentioning this from the other angle a little bit. So look, if we do drop below the 76.74, then yes, we could end up filling the whole gap here, and then yes, and this is where we could also test my upside support line. So but again, that's my ideal scenario. Again, will that be the case? I need to see if this can, let's say, get that hold up near the 79 territory, and if we can get that hold up here, and if we see the sellers jumping in here again, if we start falling back below the EMAs here, the 100 and the 100 and the 50-day EMA, again, this kind of increases the chances again for a possible decline. Although we saw that lately the commodity was just oscillating around them, so maybe the EMAs are not actually carrying more much significance. That said, it might help you just kind of let's say position yourself, or at least let's say if you're taking the risk, might as well just kind of try to justify it somehow. Look, you still have to accept the fact that you might lose a little bit here, maybe it'll be a choppy session, it could go up and down. You have to accept the fact that you might lose money still. So that's why you only go in with what you can afford. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys. So yeah, but like I said, I'll start looking at some lower levels again. First of all, if we do see a continued hold up somewhere below this highlighted zone right here, ideally below the 79 zone, and then yes, we could kind of take it from there. But if it starts popping and stays above the 79.50, I mean, I will consider a move back to the 200-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. Ethereum, jumping into a bit of a crypto world. So I talked about this recently, and look, I said to you yesterday that if we start dropping below this 1846, 47 territory, and then we also drop below the 50-day EMA, then I will say my next target is somewhere around here, the 1742 and the 1714, and then we'll take it from there. So this whole area here, I'm kind of expecting, to maybe fill, but again, let's see. At the moment, yes, I'm leaning towards the downside, but I need to see some. Let's say I need to see the crypto continuing to stay below the 50-day EMA, and then yeah, we could go from there. For the upside, ideally 1943, that's the level that I'm watching here, but we could already start maybe looking at some higher levels if we do push somewhere above this zone, the 1846. As you can see here, by the way, that somehow this crypto likes these 1740, 1840, 1940, so these levels, the 40s, in every century. But yeah, look, let's see how this is going to play out. Of course, if we do push above the 1847, 46 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, I will start considering some higher levels. Bitcoin Cash, just a quick update on this one. So far, is drifting nicely to the downside, but as you can see here on my chart, I have my upside support line, which could play out nicely. Again, I don't know. We'll see. But the fact that we are now falling below this 120 territory, of course, that's kind of potentially could be opening the door to some lower levels. Again, I will say that, look, I'm keeping an eye on this level as well, the 118.27. Because again, we're kind of flirting with this. It somehow is providing that good little support for now. But yeah, if we do fall below that area, I will consider a maybe a move towards this upside line taken from the low of the 10th of November, and then we will take it from there, guys. If we do break the upside line, great, even more chances here for the bears to step in. Jumping into a few pairs, AUDNZD, guys. So one of my favorite ones, and look, there we go. We broke the upside line, and this is what I talked about. And I talked about this even last week as well, and I said, look, if we break the upside line, we could go a little bit lower. But as you can see here, my downside scenario is from this highlighted territory right here. So what it means that all this zone, there is still a chance for the bulls to step in. Now, let me just get rid of this upside line. No longer needed. We drifted nicely here below the 200-day EMA. Our next target was this 100. Look, if we do clear this 100-day EMA, my next target is the 50, and then we'll take it from there. For now, I'm just going to observe the price action. I'm not going to do much on this one, because it might just kind of rebound from the highlighted zone here, push back up, and maybe even end up breaking the downside line. But of course, anything can happen here. So for now, I'm just observing this one. If we do drop and stay below this highlighted zone, yes, I'll consider a bit of a move lower here. Maybe actually not as drastic as this, but maybe towards somewhere here initially, the 1.07 territory. Why? Because we have ourselves a possible upside line here. Again, maybe it's going to reach that. Maybe it's just a tentative one. Maybe it's not going to carry much significance, but still we need to consider all the options. So for now, like I said, I'm going to aim for this one, or let's say if we do drop and stay below the highlighted zone. If we don't, okay, great. The upside scenario is still not off the table. AUDUSD. Look, I talked about this previously, and I said that it's an interesting one. It's we might be in a range, and so far it seems to be the case. Now, also we can see that we are still trading above this upside line, taken from the low of the 10th of March. It's a little bit tentative, so it's not really like maybe might not even carry too much significance, but maybe it's the lower side of the range that could be the more important one. So again, let's continue observing this. another thing to kind of complicate your lives here a little bit from the shorter term perspective is this downside line. Now, this downside line could be part of which could be the upper side of a possible rising wedge pattern right here. So, oh, sorry, falling wedge pattern, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the upside. So, again, will that be the case? Let's wait and see. I'll keep that for now. Let's see if if we can squeeze something out of this one. But let's say if it starts violating the lower side of this falling wedge and breaks the upside line, just ignore all the wedges and just go from what you have then. And then we will aim for the lower side of this range, a break of which may attract a few more sellers into the game. So yeah, keep that in mind. NZDJPY, just wanted to give you a quick update on that one. I kept on talking about this for quite a while. Look, NZDJPY rebounded nicely from the lower side of the range. Beautiful. I talked about this yesterday, and yes, we managed to reach our 50-day EMA. So that's great. That's good. What's next? Well, if we do pop above the 50-day EMA, I am aiming for that 100 and the 200, and eventually maybe for the upper side of this range. Ideally, I need to see a clearance of this range in order to consider the next next short-term directional move. Look, the prevailing trend is to the upside before entering this range. So again, according to the TA rules, it has a higher probability to break higher. However, we've seen that happening the opposite way, yeah, so that's why we always wait for that confirmation. So at this point, yes, there is some potential for some upside, but let's go slowly, step by step. If we clear the 50, then I'll aim for the 100, then I'll aim for the 200, then I'll aim for the upper side, and then we'll see if we can break it or not. US dollar against the Chinese yuan offshore. I keep on talking about this one because I mentioned this like 2 weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, yep. And so I said to keep your eyes on this barrier right here, this 6.91 territory, and we are violating it. So the question here is, can we see a further move north? Well, it's a good question, of course. The fact is that I think that we'll have to wait. At this point, look, we are pushing higher, but will it be able to stay here? Will the body of this daily candle stay above this hurdle? If it does, then yes, it increases the chances for a further move north, which probably I should aim initially here. Yep, towards that 6.95 territory, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, I need to see a break of this upside line, taken from below the 2nd of February, and then we'll go from there. USDJPY still, look, I talked about this yesterday as well. I said to keep your eyes on this 200-day EMA, which we managed to violate initially nicely. But look, by the end of the day, we drifted back down, back below it. And of course, that doesn't kind of, bring too much positivity into the whole near-term outlook. However, the fact that we're still holding above this short-term tentative, or probably no longer tentative, short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 5th of April, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the bulls, which means that more upside could happen. Now, why my arrow is from around here? Because, well, it's me. I am a little bit on the careful side here. So all this zone, all this territory right here, I'm just going to observe the price action. I'm not really going to do anything with it. If we start clearing this territory, the 135.1926, yeah, great. I'll get a little bit more excited with, with further upside, because a forthcoming higher high would be confirmed. Then, potentially more buyers could join in. For the downside, I need to see a drop below this upside line, and then, yes, maybe also a break below the 133.55, something like that. And then, yeah, we could consider a move lower. USDCHF, guys. So this, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while. Then probably I need to remove all the drawings here because let's have a fresh look. One thing for sure that I'm bringing back is this downside line taken from the high of the 8th of March. By the way, this is when we started when I started my daily pitch international, my first video. A bit of a sloppy one because we were still brushing up on the technical side, but hey, we got here. Still not perfect, maybe, but you know, getting there slowly, slowly getting there. Look, the downside line, so far so good, holding nicely. I'm gonna take a very careful and simplistic approach on this one. Look, we can see that we're still holding above this 0.8860 territory. So that's a very good area of support. If we clear that, my next target, and this is where I need to scroll back, way back into history, yeah, my next target is this one, the lowest point of January of 2021, near the 0.8757, and then we will take it from there, guys. So that's where we are currently, quite far away from that psychological 1 level, which we've tested back in November, October, November, yeah. So yeah, we did move a lot to the downside here. So yeah, let's see if we can see further declines, but again, for that I need to see a nice good clearance of this territory, of this this 0.8860 zone. If we do get that, and not a false breakout but a proper move below it, then yes, I'll go further south. For the upside, well, for the upside, maybe we could keep an eye on this little territory around the psychological 0.90 zone. And if we do push through that, then yes, I'll start aiming for my EMAs. And then I'll take it from there. GBPCAD. Look, I haven't looked at this for quite a while, but previously when I talked about it, I said keep your eyes on this upside line, but my downside scenario could come on a break of this key support zone near the 1.6582. And we did violate that initially, but we failed to kind of stay below it. And yes, we saw a nice reversal. So basically, maybe this pair actually confirmed a nice little range, and it seems to be the case. We're breaking now the upper side here of this range. Also, this important barrier between the 1.6851 and the 75 levels. So yeah, and look, I talked about this previously, and I said that if we do break this and stay above it, I'll continue aiming to the upside. 1.70 is my next target, the psychological 1.70. And then, yeah, I'll aim for this 1.7132, and then I'll take it from there. But for now, yes, I'm leaning towards the upside. Great move here, as long as we stay above this highlighted territory. If we start falling back below it, I will consider maybe a move back to this upside support line again. EURGBP, just a quick update. Look, yesterday I've mentioned this. We were still balancing below this downside line. I said that, well, if we start breaking it, great. I will go a little bit more to the upside, but I'll get a little bit more excited with higher levels if we do pop above the 0.8866 zone, somewhere around here. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. So far, so good. We're, yes, on the right track. Let's see if we can clear this territory. If we can, great, I'll go higher. For the downside, I would need to see not only a push back below this downside line, but actually I would also like to see a break of this upside line right here. And if we do get that, yes, I will consider a move back down here, somewhere towards this 0.8792 territory, and then we will go from there, guys. EURUSD, finally, boom, there we go. Yesterday I talked about this, and I said that keep your eyes on this highlighted zone. By the way, I've redrawn this, and I said that, well, this 1.0995, 96 could be a nice good barrier for the upside if it gets broken, of course. It got broken, it opened the door, yes, and then we cleared some key resistance barriers, like for example this 1.1033, which no longer is needed, to be honest. You can see now that we are near this 1.1076. If we do get a nice good clearance of that one, I'm aiming for the upper side of this rising channel, because don't forget that we're still within the rising channel. And another thing that don't forget, please, because look, given that this is quite an important barrier here, actually, you know what, let me reuse this, because yeah, let's recycle, guys. Always recycle. There's a hidden message there for you. Look, I'm keeping an eye on this barrier. Quite an important area of resistance. If we can push through it and stay above it, then yes, I will get more comfortable higher levels. And also, as I said, I'll start aiming for the upper side of the rising channel. For the downside, I need to see a break of the lower side of this rising channel. And if we get that, then yes, I will aim for the 50-day EMA, and I'll take it from there. So that's the game plan for Euro USD. If it starts trading around here somewhere, this is just kind of, for me, I'm just observing the price action, not really doing much. So look, we had our move. Yesterday I talked about this, the 1.0995, 96. We had our move, we captured it. Now let's not chase it. Let's see if this is not gonna, drift back down, start, kind of moving sideways here a little bit, waiting until we, we'll start maybe coiling up. Maybe this is gonna form a nice ascending triangle pattern. So all these cases. So we need to still consider all that, but still the main barrier is this one for me personally. I want to see how this is going to play out, and then we'll go from there, guys. So look, this is, that's it for this session. As I said, this was a very quick kind of wrap up, quick overview of some of these instruments that we looked at recently, just because some of them did present themselves with nice opportunities. That's what we do on the show. Look, maybe, we're it's very subjective. It's only kind of my view here. So yourselves, guys, yourselves better. So you do what you're comfortable with. Honestly, nobody else can kind of advise you on anything like that. You just have to kind of, be confident with yourselves. Risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine, guys. But for now, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for joining in, and thank you very much for your views, for your comments, for your rockets. Because it's not likes, it's rockets. So yeah, thank you very much for that, guys. Tune in tomorrow, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. And then we'll go from there. We'll pick up on some of these instruments, some new ones maybe, and then we'll see what the market has prepared for us for Wednesday. But yeah, have a nice trading Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.